Hi, I'm Jennifer Toronto, and this is She Shall Be Praised, a podcast about womanhood, faith, and finding strength in the everyday. Today, this is really my introduction podcast. If you are looking at this video, I apologize for the poor quality. Um, I am sitting home on a rainy day, and I decided to get started with this. Years ago, I found it, in my early 20s and 30s, I started blogging. And recently, I came across those blogs again, and I decided to re-envision them. I had wanted to write again and just never found the time, never picked it back up. So this podcast, I'm going to read some of those. I'll go a little bit more in depth than whatever I put up on my blog. So if you do like what you read, if you see it, you can come here and maybe listen and hear some things that aren't there. So today I'm going to do my intro. This is the first blog post on my new website, which is sheshallbepraised.com. Just over 2 decades ago, when my oldest was a toddler and my second child a newborn, I took them and a tape recorder to my grandparents' house to ask questions. I wanted to record the old stories they told us on quiet nights and long car rides, local ghost stories, family history, and the way of life long before I was born. It was a way of life that was disappearing, and I wanted to capture it for the generations to come and my own fond memories. As my grandmother began to speak, I heard stories that I knew and some that I had never heard before. I always intended to go back and continue recording stories, but I was a busy young mom, and that just never happened. We now have this wonderful record of my grandparents telling their stories long after they are gone, but I have lost the opportunity to record more of their stories. Why do I bring this up? Sharing our stories brings value to others. In 2008, I began a blog. The women in my church circle had introduced me to the concept of blogging. We would read each other's blogs and comment and share as we navigated young motherhood and womanhood. I stopped blogging a few years later, but the urge to learn, share, and create never left me. I've since learned something else. We all struggle with many of the same issues. The older I get, the more I meet other women who are willing to share life. And again, we all struggle with the same things. I wish I had known this as a young woman. The things I thought I couldn't share with others, had I shared them, I could have learned from others and not felt so alone. She Shall Be Praised is about growing community support and knowledge. It's about growing community, support, and knowledge. We don't have to feel so alone, and we don't have to stumble through life. Join with me and let's grow together. So that's my intro. And I'll tell you that throughout the years, I've had this hunger to keep writing and to create and to share. But I've been busy with the things of life. And and I miss what I had then. I'll be honest. When I write and when I speak, it helps clarify things to me about what I'm struggling with and what I'm going through. And it's funny because sometimes when you're talking, the words that come out of your mouth, you hear them and it's like, wow, I never thought of it that way before. But in the struggle to put it into words, to communicate whatever you're experiencing, there are things that come out just in that process that bring value even to you, the speaker. And and so I've had this urge to create, but the time just wasn't right. And now, at this time in my life, I find I'm ready. I'm ready and I hunger for it. And I'm actually excited and really look forward to sharing these. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there. That's gonna be the end of this very first recording. Um, I'm actually gonna do the next one, which is um, Finding Peace in the Midst of a Storm. I wrote that one 3 years after Katrina, or not quite 3 years, just before. And boy, was I in a storm. Um, So I'm going to go ahead and record that one next. But I do hope you join me. And please, drop a line. Let me know what you're thinking, what you're struggling with. Maybe there's something that we can work through together. Or at the very least, if I've experienced something similar, you can hear what I have to say. And maybe something I've been through will help you with something you're going through. So it's very nice to meet you. I look forward to this journey together, and please continue to listen.